Good evening. In Kenya, where being overweight was once perceived as a sign of wealth and success, a dramatic shift is underway. A powerful drive to shed the pounds is now taking hold, fueling a booming industry of surgical procedures and weight loss drugs. This is Kenya News Update today, and over the next 12 minutes, we take a deep dive into the complex factors behind this cultural transformation, the economics of the new slimness industry, and the fierce debate it has ignited. At her weight loss clinic in the capital, Dr. Ludmila Shukina has a fully booked schedule, a situation she says was unthinkable just a few years ago. It has not always been this way for the Nairobi-based surgeon. But today, her phone rings constantly with inquiries about gastric sleeves, bypasses, and the latest injectable medications. This report examines the confluence of social media influence, changing beauty standards, and a growing health consciousness that is reshaping Kenyan bodies and bank accounts. We'll look at the numbers, hear from patients and critics, and explore what this says about Kenya's evolving identity in 2026. First, let's understand the scale of this shift. For generations in many Kenyan communities, a fuller figure was not just accepted, it was celebrated. It signaled prosperity, stability, and good health. Being thin could be misconstrued as a sign of poverty or illness, but that perception is being rapidly dismantled. The catalyst? A globalized digital world. Social media platforms are flooded with images of a different ideal, one often characterized by slimmer, more sculpted physiques. Kenyan influencers, many with hundreds of thousands of followers, are documenting their own weight loss journeys, from grueling workout regimens to post-surgery recoveries. Their success stories, measured in lost kilograms and gained confidence, are powerful advertisements for a new way of life. But this new ideal comes with a significant price tag, creating a stark economic divide in the pursuit of slimness. Let's break down the costs. The most permanent solution, bariatric surgery, is also the most expensive. A full gastric bypass procedure can cost upwards of 1.2 million shillings, roughly $6,000. A gastric sleeve, a slightly less invasive option, still commands about 900,000 shillings, or $4,500. For context, that's more than double the annual average income for many urban professionals. These are life-altering sums. Yet clinics report waiting lists stretching for months. Dr. Shukina explains the demand. 5 years ago, I might see one patient a month inquiring about weight loss surgery. Now, I have consultations booked every single day. People are investing in this not just as a cosmetic procedure, but as a critical health intervention. Indeed, the health argument is a major driver. Kenya, like much of the world, is grappling with rising rates of obesity and related non-communicable diseases. The Ministry of Health estimates that nearly 30% of adults in urban areas are clinically overweight or obese. This is linked to soaring cases of type 2 diabetes, hypertension, and heart disease. The economic burden on the public health system is immense. For many, the high upfront cost of surgery is framed as a long-term investment to avoid chronic medication and health complications down the line. But surgery is not the only game in town. The real explosion in accessibility has come from pharmaceuticals, specifically a class of drugs known as GLP-1 receptor agonists. Originally developed for diabetes, their powerful appetite-suppressing effects have made them global sensations. In Kenya, brands like Ozempic and Wegovy, though often imported unofficially, are in high demand. A month's supply can cost between 30,000 and 60,000 shillings, or $300 to $600. While still significant, this recurring cost is within reach for a much larger segment of the upper middle class than a one-off million-shilling surgery. Pharmacists in upscale Nairobi neighborhoods like Kilimani and Lavington report these medications are among their fastest-moving stock. We can't keep them on the shelves, one pharmacist told us on condition of anonymity. People come in with prescriptions, but many more are asking how they can get them without one. The demand is driven by word of mouth and social media testimonials. This medicalization of weight loss is creating a new wellness economy. Supporting services are booming, specialized dietitians charging 5,000 shillings per session, premium gyms with personal trainers, and high-end meal prep delivery services. It's a comprehensive ecosystem built around the goal of a smaller body. But beneath this booming business lies a fierce cultural and ethical debate. Critics argue that this new drive pathologizes normal body diversity and reinforces a narrow, often Western, beauty standard. They see it as a step backward, replacing one oppressive ideal with another. We've swapped the tyranny of big is beautiful for the tyranny of thin is healthy, says Nema Ade, a body positivity activist and lecturer at the University of Nairobi. The message now is that to be valuable, to be healthy, to be successful, you must be slim. This is causing immense psychological harm, particularly to young women who are bombarded with these images. ADEPT points to a worrying trend: the rise of eating disorders in urban centers, something previously considered rare in Kenya. Support groups are reporting increased membership, with individuals struggling with anorexia and bulimia, often triggered by extreme dieting inspired by online influencers. The financial aspect also draws criticism. Is this just another form of consumption where the wealthy can buy a better body, further widening social inequalities? The ability to afford a 60,000 shilling monthly injection or a 1.2 million shilling surgery is a privilege inaccessible to the vast majority of Kenyans. This creates a visual landscape where slenderness becomes another marker of class status. Furthermore, the long-term safety and sustainability of some treatments, particularly the new drugs, are still under study. Medical professionals urge caution. These are powerful medications with side effects, warns Dr. Kamo Wanioik, an endocrinologist at Aga Khan University Hospital. They are not magic shots. They require medical supervision, which many people bypassing official channels are not getting. We are seeing cases of severe gastrointestinal issues and nutritional deficiencies. Surgery, too, is a major procedure with lifelong implications for nutrition. So, where does this leave us? The data suggests the trend is accelerating, not slowing. Let's look at some key metrics. A recent survey of 1,000 urban Kenyans aged 25 to 45 found that 39% have actively considered a medical weight loss intervention in the past year. That's a staggering figure. Of those, 14% have already undergone a procedure or started a prescription regimen. The primary motivator? For 65%, it was health concerns. For 35%, it was appearance and social pressure. The gender breakdown is also revealing. 70% of those seeking treatment are women, reflecting the intense societal pressure placed on female bodies. However, the number of men seeking treatment is growing rapidly, up by an estimated 40% year-on-year, as corporate and social expectations around male presentation evolve. The economic footprint is substantial. Conservative estimates put the value of the formal weight loss treatment market in Kenya at over 5 billion shillings annually. This includes surgeries, drugs, and associated professional services. The informal market, including smuggled medications and underground clinics, could double that figure. It's a multi-billion shilling industry, emerging almost overnight. To understand the personal stakes, we met with two Kenyans at different points in this journey. Maria, a 28-year-old marketing executive, underwent a gastric sleeve procedure 6 months ago. I was pre-diabetic and my blood pressure was creeping up, she says. I tried everything, diets, gym, but the weight wouldn't stay off. The surgery was my last resort. It cost me my entire savings, but I've lost 25 kilograms. My health metrics are normal now. For me, it was never about being a model. It was about being alive for my future children. Her story embodies the health-first narrative. On the other side is James, a 35-year-old businessman who spent 500,000 shillings on a course of weight loss injections. I did it for the confidence, he admits openly. In my line of work, networking is everything. How you look, how you present yourself matters. I felt I was being judged for my weight. After losing 15 kilograms, the difference in how people engage with me is palpable. It's an investment in my career. His story highlights the social and professional capital now tied to body size. The government's stance is cautious. The Pharmacy and Poisons Board is increasing surveillance on the import and distribution of weight loss drugs, concerned about counterfeit and unregulated products entering the market. The Ministry of Health, while promoting healthy eating and exercise, has not officially endorsed any specific medical interventions for obesity, citing cost and AQT concerns. Our primary public health message remains prevention through lifestyle, a ministry spokesperson stated. We cannot build a healthy nation on a foundation of expensive surgeries and medications that most cannot afford. This tension between individual choice and public health, between global trends and local values, defines the current moment. The traditional Kenyan appreciation for fuller bodies hasn't vanished. It now coexists, often uneasily, with this new slimness imperative. In villages and smaller towns, the old perceptions often hold stronger. But in Nairobi, Mombasa, and Kisumu's burgeoning middle-class estates, the change is visible on the streets and in the offices. What does this mean for Kenya's future? Experts suggest several possible trajectories. If the current trend continues, we could see a deepening health inequality, a wealthy class able to medically manage weight-related health issues, and a poorer majority left to contend with the public health system. There's also the risk of a mental health crisis, with rising body dysmorphia and eating disorders. Conversely, if regulated properly, increased awareness could lead to better overall health outcomes, with more people accessing legitimate medical help for obesity. The booming industry could also create new jobs in healthcare, nutrition, and fitness. The debate ultimately circles back to a fundamental question. In a rapidly modernizing Kenya, who defines what a healthy, desirable body is? Is it the global media machine, the medical establishment, social media influencers, or the individual? The answer, for now, seems to be a confusing, contentious mix of all the above. The one undeniable truth is that bodies have become a new frontier for consumption, investment, and identity. The pursuit of slimness is no longer just a personal health goal. It is a socio-economic phenomenon reflecting Kenya's complex place in a globalized world. As attitudes continue to evolve, this conversation about weight, worth, and wellness will only grow louder. For Kenya News Update today, this has been a deep dive into the weight loss revolution reshaping Kenya. Subscribe to Kenya News Update today for more in-depth reporting on the issues defining our nation.